Hola Brandon, buenas tardes. La última vez que platicamos en MLS Media Day, un par de semanas, no sabías si ibas a venir. ¿Tienes esa decisión todavía? Estar acá, jugar estos partidos no significa que estás atado a Estados Unidos. Me comentaste que México no había hablado contigo. ¿Qué sientes ahora estando acá? ¿Sientes que estás más cerca de escoger por los Estados Unidos? ¿Qué ha pasado por tu cabeza en las últimas 2 semanas? ¿Y cómo te sientes hoy vistiendo USMNT gear?
Sí, ya estando aquí, obviamente mi prioridad es jugar lo mejor posible y estar metiendo goles cada vez que entro al campo, y esa es mi única tarea que tengo que hacer ahorita. Entonces, entrar al campo, meter goles es lo único que tengo en mente.
¿No ha cambiado nada en las últimas 2 semanas?
No, nada.
Steve.
Brandon, what the last 6 months, 9 months before World Cup, what was your feeling? You hadn't been in camp. There was a lot of drumbeat out there to get you in before World Cup. That wasn't going to happen. But so, what was your feeling as things progressed with the national team, leading up to a new cycle that obviously is now included?
Yeah, last year I was just doing everything possible that I can control to give myself the best opportunity to get into the World Cup roster. And yeah, unfortunately, it didn't happen that way, but you just kind of shake it off and start all over again, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. Start fresh with a lot of energy and a lot of excitement to be here.
Do you sense, obviously it's an opportunity because you're in camp, but that striker position seems like it's there for the taking leading into the cycle. How do you approach that?
For me, I don't really have that in the back of my mind. Kind of like what I had just said. The only thing that I'm focused on right now is doing my best for the team, helping the team win, and scoring as many goals as possible. I think if I step onto the field and do my job there, then the rest will come.
Thanks.
Dave.
Paxten, what do you want to accomplish in this camp? I know it's been a rapid couple of months for you here, but what do you want to take from this camp here that sets you up for the rest of the year?
Yeah, of course, it's my first senior team camp, so just kind of getting used to the guys, getting used to the level, and trying to make an impression. It's the first camp. There's a lot of young guys here, and especially me, I'm really hungry to get after it and make a really good first impression, and hopefully I can do that in the coming trainings and the past trainings, and then, of course, it's a dream of mine to make my senior debut, so get my first cap, and yeah, just build off of that, build momentum going into this really important cycle.
Joseph.
Given all the controversy that has happened with the coaching situation, how would you describe the atmosphere in the camp right now? And what do you and this is for both of you, by the way, and what challenges do you and your fellow players have in dealing with all of this while you have your own individual goals of trying to impress the managerial staff?
For us, it's the same style of play regardless of who's in right now. We're trying to push ourselves to be the best team possible, and the vibe in the locker room is great. It's a great group of guys, and everybody gets along really well. So it's every time we step on the field, you can see that, and the team chemistry is really there. Even though we have a lot of new faces, it's like everybody that has been watching the U.S. national team knows exactly their style of play, and we're stepping in and doing exactly that.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think, like you said, the principles, of course, always stay the same. The style stays the same, and I think the vibes and the atmosphere, the energy of the group has been amazing. It's not even a thing. So I think the vibes and kind of the group energy, a lot of young guys, a lot of new faces, eager to make an impression, and I think this energy is good for the group, and I think it's been really good the first 2 days.
If I ask a follow-up, what has been pivotal to that kind of atmosphere, that kind of energy permeating the squad?
I'll go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, one, it's the excitement of new faces eager to make the impression, like I said, but a lot of it goes to the core guys, the guys who have been experienced here, like Walker, Aaron, Paul, all these guys kind of integrating new faces, and they've done a great job, kind of integrating us and showing us the ropes so far. So they've done a great job of keeping the standards that high and telling us and telling the new guys like what you have to hit, what you have to achieve.
Thank you.
Sanjay.
Paxten, two-parter. First part, your brother made his debut in this camp exactly 3 years ago. Did he give you any advice about this camp in particular? Do you remember watching that game at all?
Yeah, I do remember watching. Was it the one in Miami or no?
This year against Coast, like right before.
Oh, okay.
2020.
But yeah, I do remember watching it. But I talk to him on a regular basis. I think I was going to FaceTime him later today. But he just always says, go into these camps with the mindset of trying to impress the most you can. This camp is special, particularly because it's, train 3 days, game, train 3 days, game. So you have to get the most out of every opportunity. And the principles for me and my brother always stay the same. Just come in and work as hard as you can. And by the end of it, leave here with a really good impression.
And the second part, how established do you feel in Germany right now? If you're back stateside pretty soon, did that really hit you that that's your new life there? Are you in a routine, you know the people really well, where you eat all those things, or does it kind of feel like almost like a vacation when you're back here and it has been the same?
With Frankfurt, we actually went to Dubai for a 10-day training camp, which was really good for me because I was with the group, I was with the guys who were training double training sessions every day, so it was a really good integration for me, just getting used to the guys, getting used to the style of play and all that, and that helped me tremendously. So I was feeling really, really good with the team, with the coaching staff, the familiarity with the style of play, and they kind of brought me in under their wings, and it was great. And of course, when I get back, moving into my apartment and feeling the ways of the city will come. But yeah.
I got a question for both of you. Brandon, differences for you playing in a two-striker setup with a 10 underneath Pat Noonan in Cincinnati versus now, you guys mentioned similar style, similar approach. I'm going to assume a single striker here. How has that adjustment been for you even early on in camp?
It's been good, before Pat Noonan came in, we were playing also single striker, so I know exactly the same kind of job that I have to do every time I step on the field, and yeah, it's covering more ground than when you're playing with two strikers and dividing that job. But I feel very accustomed to playing by myself up top, just the way I feel like when I'm playing with two forwards.
In the Paxten for you, positionally as well, both with Frankfurt and here in training, I'm curious, where are you playing, where are you training on the field for both of those teams?
In Frankfurt, I was training at the 10. We play with, like the two 10s, the left and the right. I was playing the left side. And here I've been playing left center mid, right center mid. Of course, it's a little bit different because here it's more of like 2 8s, but the principles stay the same, and I've been enjoying it a lot playing here.
We'll move to questions from our Zoom audience and begin with Scott French.
Hi guys, want to get your thoughts on playing with Anthony. What he's like as a coach, what it's been like working with him, and have either of you worked with him previously?
I haven't been able to work with him previously to this camp, but I did get to meet him last year. He did come out to Cincinnati to one of my games and got to speak to him there for a while and got to know him. So coming into this camp, I had already had a small kind of relationship with him. Having only a couple days in camp before each game, we get straight into the tactical stuff, the job of each position, exactly how they want us to play, training sessions have been great, the intensity's been great, and like we had said, the energy of the group is high, so yeah, everything's been spot on.
For me, this is my first time actually meeting him in person and, of course, training with him. But I think, like Brandon touched on, it's a difficult task, bringing all these guys in and always only having 3 days to kind of prepare us for our first game. I think he's done a tremendous job so far, getting everybody on the same page, drilling in the style of play, drilling in the tactics, and yeah, he's been superb so far.
Next will be Jonathan Tannenwald.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, Paxten.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
I'm good, man. I know you've already had a fair few things to say this week, but what do you sort of see the rest of the year playing out as, club and country-wise? Would you, if they ask you to come to the Gold Cup, would you like to do that? And if, what do you think this is going to be like at Frankfurt? And curious also, obviously we don't know where the Gold Cup's going to be yet. We don't know where the Nations League is going to be yet, but the national team does come to town here every now and again. What do you think would mean to be able to play a national team game at home one of these days?
Yeah, I think the first thing you said, but I take the opportunity to be a part of the Gold Cup squad. I think, of course, that's an honor for me, and that would be a big accomplishment for me, and of course I would take that. And if it does so happen to be played close to my hometown, that would be a true honor, just, because there's so many familiar faces back home, my family members, friends, and I know they're also supportive of me, so it would be a true honor for me to do that. And for the rest of the year, for me, training with Eintracht and the national team, of course, I'll take every opportunity with the national team because it's always an honor. And at Eintracht, I think the 10-day preseason really helped me up for success, and I think it's as far as I take it. If I'm proving myself day in training, I think I can take it as far. But of course, it's going to take me some time to adapt, get used to the new tactics, off the field stuff. Living alone, moving out there. So yeah.
We'll go to Ron Blum.
Hi, for Paxten, for you in Philadelphia and you, Brandon, back in San Diego, there's been a lot of discussion lately about parental lobbying with youth coaches for playing time. In your experience, did you find any going around from the parent groups of your youth teams?
That's a good question. No, I don't really recall that kind of stuff going on back then. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good question. But for me, I mean, of course, when you're like U8, U9 playing rec soccer, the parents always get into it. But I think once you hit the level where it's like, for me, when I was in the Philadelphia Union Academy all my life, I think they did a good job of kind of sealing the deal. If you want what's best for your kid, you're gonna hand it over to the guys who know what's best. So I think they did a good job of just letting the coaching staff make their decisions. And yeah, that's, in my perspective, how I grew up.
Next will be Pat Brennan.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for doing this. Brandon, good to talk to you. Paxten, congrats on being called into this camp. Brandon, this question is for you. I just wonder what you think of doing basically 2 weeks of preseason in Cincinnati, stepping away with the national team here, and then trying to reintegrate yourself with your club team after this camp concludes. What's challenging about it, and maybe what advantages do you think that presents?
Yeah, hey Pratt, good talking to you too. Yeah, I think the only thing that changes is coming in after playing a year with a 2 number 9 system, coming in here trying to get used to the 1 number 9 system, and yeah, the camps like this personally gives me confidence, and going back to Cincinnati after this, it'll be like I think it'll be like I never left. I'm really close to everybody back in Cincinnati and the team, and I think everybody will be excited to have me back.
Next will be Doug McIntyre.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, guys. Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate the time. A question for each of you, if I may. Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you played with Alejandro Zendejas with the under-17s. You guys are around the same age. What do you remember about him as a player? Has he touched it all? How have you seen him evolve as a player, from afar in the years since? And Paxten, I know he just came in yesterday, but first impressions on Alex on and off the field. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, for me, yeah, we did play U17 cycle together. We played the U17 World Cup together, and Alex is an absolute baller. He's so shifty. His velocity and speed is great, and he's amazing on the ball. So playing with him is always really, really fun.
Yeah, for me, first impressions, I'll start off the field. He seemed really like a nice guy, talkative at the team dinner last night, so it seems like he gets along with a lot of the guys really well, which is important, integrating him into the squad. And then on the field today, like Brandon kind of touched on, he's a really dynamic left-footed player. When he picks the ball up, he always looks like he's going to create something special when he cuts in on that left foot. So, yeah, he's a special player.
We'll go to Brian Sciaretta.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you guys for doing this. I have a question for each of you. Building off that last question, Brandon, your U17 team was remarkably productive now with the national team. I mean, as far as I count, with you and Alex, it could be 6 people in the national team pool. Discuss the camaraderie with that group, and then with Paxten too. Speaking of your youth days, or maybe they still are ongoing, you accomplished so much last year with the U20s. You know, you ended the Olympic drought. How much is using this camp to build momentum, but potentially for the U20 World Cup and the Olympics, also part of your goals at this camp? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the camaraderie between our old squad is the same as it's always been. You know, I mean, it's been like, what, 7, 8 years since, like 7 years since we've all had our group together. But yeah, the team and the friendships are all the same. We all pretty much stay in contact still through social media and stuff. So coming back together and being together is like it's always a lot of fun. Being able to catch up.
Yeah, and for me, like you said, last year the whole team, we had a really special moment in that U20 World Cup qualifiers, like you said, ending the Olympic drought and then going to the U20 World Cup. And for me, it would be an amazing opportunity to be able to get back with those guys. I love that group of guys. I love the coaching staff, and I love playing with them. They're really just true friends. Like on the field, we have amazing chemistry. So being able to be with them, and hopefully I get the opportunity to be with them in the U20 World Cup coming up. And then, of course, hopefully, if I keep taking the right steps, I get to be with them again at the Olympics. So, yeah, it would be an amazing opportunity, and I love those guys.
We will take a few more and continue with Charlie Bohm.
Hey, thanks. Congrats to both you guys for the call-up. My question is for Paxten. Could you talk about what went into the timing and the decision to make your move to Europe at this point when you did, kind of factoring in everything, you know, your long-term goals, and then also your situation with Philly? Like, why now, and how did Eintracht wind up being the spot?
For me, the decision and how it came about, I think when a club like Eintracht comes to you with a real plan and some identity, for me, is kind of what hooked me. They came to me with a true plan and a plan to set me up for success. You know, they weren't just buying me to buy me. They really do have a true plan, and I fit into their system, the style they want to play, and that immediately caught my eye. And, of course, when a team like that caliber, their Europa League champions, comes into play, it's obviously turns a switch on my head. Like, of course, I want to go there and take that next step in my career. So it was a yes from the start. But like I said, when they came to me with the plan and the style of play and all of that implemented in, it was a no-brainer for me.
Next will be Donald Wine.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you guys, and congratulations on making the roster. I know this is your first camp and you're only a few days into camp, but has there been a moment where you guys have kind of felt that there's a stark difference between play at the club level and play at this international level?
Coming here, yeah, you can tell the quality of this group, the quality of every single player here is world class. So being here and adapting to the team, to the players around me, it's been an honor. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I think anywhere you go, club to club, and then going from club to national team, the style of plays always differentiate a little bit, and sometimes a lot. So I think it's coming in and kind of getting on the same page as quickly as possible. And I think the big thing is communicating. You know, if you can build those relationships with the players and the coaches, it makes it that much easier when you're in the games or when you're in training and things happen and you can communicate that.
Last question comes from Andrew Jones.
Thank you, Michael, and Happy New Year to you, Michael, since I had a chance to say that towards you. First for Brandon, not only did you have a great season last year with not only FC Cincinnati with being a national team pitcher, but you're now a happily married man. So how was the process of balancing all of that last year? And for you, Paxten, how was the conversation with Oliver Glasner in order to be able to come towards this camp? And what's been any surprising thing that you experienced in living in Frankfurt so far?
Yeah, for me, Jessie, my wife, she's helped me in my success in all aspects. You know, she always supports me and doesn't doesn't let me get lazy, you know. Whenever I should be doing something, she's always supporting me. If I have to get home late because I have to do hours of recovery, she's always there. And yeah, happy with letting me do my own thing, because she knows soccer, football is my everything. So she's one of my biggest fans, and she supports me. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy where I am, and I don't know, life's been good.
Yeah, for me, talking with Coach before I came here, it came up, of course, and he was just super excited for me, super thrilled for me. He thought it would be a great opportunity for me to, especially to get my first senior team call-up. And I spoke about it with the club, and they thought it was the right moment, the right time for me to come here and, kind of make my senior team camp debut. And they just thought it was good timing, and they were, of course, super excited for me, because they knew how much of a honor it would mean for me. And in terms of, the city of Frankfurt, I actually have only been there for 4 days, and I was staying in the hotel, but I walked all around the city. It's a beautiful city, but I'm looking forward to going back and kind of making it my home with my apartment and everything. So, yeah.